My name is Bailwanster, and I create the things that I wish existed. So, as an artist entrepreneur, right, I've had to wear multiple hats as far as my artistry goes. I just wanted to rap for a very long time. Back in 2008, when we got started, my brother and I, Kimosabi, I just wanted to rap, and almost, whoa, like maybe more than 10 years later, I found myself hosting events as part of the things that I wish existed, amongst the many things that I wish existed, right? So, what drives me is that desire to create the things that I wish existed, to find my story somewhere in the world. And when I can't find it, I have to write it. And then I put it up on streaming platforms. And then I listen to it every now and then when I need a little bit of, intimate relatability. So that's what I do music for specifically, to make the world a little bit smaller for myself and to feel less lonely. Anyway, so I consider myself an artist entrepreneur because I've understood the business of my artistry and the various streams of income from, royalties to product, merchandise, to events. And events is what I want to speak to specifically because I was fortunate in 2025, despite it being one of the toughest years of my life. I turned 30. I've been wanting to turn 30 since I was 22, right? So I think there was a lot of, it was being winded up. Okay, he's coming, he's going to get to 30. When he gets here, bah, and see if he can handle it. And this being the last day of 2025, I'm here. I handled it clearly. So anyway, events. I got into events around 2018, hosted my own event called Normal Agenda back in Durban at the South Store. I just wanted to see who comes out for me, like from these different shows I'm booked for, because it's difficult to tell sometimes. I mean, yeah, because people enjoy it, and did you come for me? I don't know. But sometimes when you've got to, as far as research goes, figure out who comes for you by hosting something that is just you. So that was an incredible exercise. It was very addictive. I was like, I need to do more shows. So then, 2018, 2019, carried on doing that. And then I met my business partner amongst the people I know who put that extra battery pack in my back that, meant that, the world was ours for the taking as far as hosting the events that we want to host. So anyway, I was fortunate this year to have, gotten funded via the Concerts SA Mobility Fund. They're a funding body that, every now and then put out call outs for artists to apply to do some tours, mobility being, being able to move around as a musician to nationally, internationally, So there's different call outs. I've participated in some other residencies with the Goethe Institute and Pop Culture in Berlin, and then One Beat in the USA. So, but being funded to do something of my own, this was a first. This was incredible, right? So in my pitch, in my proposal when I was applying, I applied by breaking down two events that I wanted to do. One being at the Chairman, Chairman Lounge. I played it twice prior to this while I was still in Durban. We brought hip hop to the Chairman for the first time ever, so that was hot. And then this third time I was coming back as part of this tour, right? So, and then the gig that I want to speak about, this was the second event. It's called I Care a Lot. It was the gig that we hosted for Bailwanster at Artistry, Johannesburg, here in Sandton. Right, that one was exciting, and why I want to talk about that one is because that was more of a production, an in-house production on our side. Whereas at the Chairman, we're coming in with our instruments. They have their engineer, they have like their stage, they have everything set up. With Artistry, right, we were using the, what do they call it? It's the space at the bottom, the DJ something. But anyway, it's like already set up to be something specific, and we wanted to set it up into something specific as well. So we moved a lot of furniture around. We brought in a stage. No, we didn't. They had a platform that they put the DJ. We wanted to bring in a very specific stage, like this other round stage. But yeah, that one was exciting. It was an event called I Care a Lot, inspired by the film. The poster is also inspired by the film. Very intense film. I couldn't finish it the first time I watched it because I'm very sensitive to a lot of things. Cartoon violence is just wild, man. That's a crazy concept. You as a child, you're looking to it as, oh, yay, safe place. And then you just see these rabbits ripping each other. Happy tree friends. No thanks. Anyway, I care a lot. There's a part of me that kind of related to, having being the hero of your story, and I guess also being the villain in someone else's story, and how those can both be true, but the one that you can control is yours. So just hold tight to that story. So I could very much relate to caring a lot about something, even potentially at the detriment. Okay, no, not at the detriment of someone else's thing, but what's more important is what I can control and what I care about. So anyway, we did this event, right? I was with my band. We booked R&B artist named Betty Brown. I hadn't met her before. I've heard the music, incredible stuff. So we had her on the bill, right? Oh, I forgot to mention, in this whole getting funded, you get 45,000 Rand. You get 45,000 Rand to pull off these shows, right? And I split this budget across like the two shows. One of them, which is the Chairman Lounge event, needed transport. So we booked a minibus, needed accommodation because we're coming from out of town to Durban. We booked an Airbnb, got cozy. It was beautiful. It was wonderful, right? We needed to eat. The chairman fed us after the gig, but I mean, we were there for like 2 days ish, like we got there on the one day and then we left the next day. But anyway, we were there, and these costs were related to just being out of town, mainly petrol and stuff. The most expensive part was the minibus hire, because it's tricky, man. I want to say that these vehicle hire things are scamming, but I guess it's their business. But they give you a specific number of kilometers, and we went over. As a result, the budget went over that was initially apportioned for travel, because we are traveling to Durban and back. And I don't know, I feel like maybe, I don't know if I let things slip through the cracks, but we had tried to book online. It didn't work. We booked in person, and that option online for unlimited kilometers disappeared when we're booking in person. Okay. Anyway, so those were the costs related to going to the Chairman and playing there. For I Care a Lot, because it's an in-house production, we're bringing in everything. So there was costs for sound, there was costs for, the band, fees and everything. They also had fees at the Chairman, but here it's like, okay, cool. And we bring in our own sound team, our own, strike and setup team. We bring in lights, we bring in a film crew, who captured the whole event. And then also our engineering team were also recording. So what we did, why the I Care a Lot event was so important is because this was our opportunity to, make the most out of the funding, because, the funding is meant to be catalytic. So you're not meant to rely on it. Like generally funding, you're not meant to rely on funding. It's meant to be something that is a catalyst for your next level, right? And we could have just sold tickets, done the shows, and see what we did with the however many tickets we sold, right? But for me, what made this extra important was the opportunity to record a live project, right? To record the whole show. So we have a 16-channel mixer that we use normally when we do our weekly residency or weekly touch-up. That one doesn't record multi-track. It records stereo, so 2 channels. And our engineering team, expressed that for us to be able to do this, we'd need to do multi-track. So bass guitar, drums, keys, trumpet, backing vocals, my vocal, all would need to be separate channels just so we could mix them, well enough, to be able to put it out as a project, right? So that was another additional expense. Getting a mixer. Oh, it was an 18-channel mixer, if I'm not mistaken, but it was able to record multi-track. Because the purpose for I Care a Lot was to document this, have an EPK moment that when it was time to do festivals, we have a proof of concept that shows, oh, here's our show. We recorded a live album. Actually, there's the vinyl right there. It's right back there. In fact, I should grab it. So we actually recorded the live album like in studio Jazzworks, sometime last year, and it was cool. Incredible. It sounded great. This is our live show that we perform all the time. I think what was missing for me was the audience. I see the audience, especially the audience that we curate or that we draw. I see them as part of our curation. They're part of the show. They send this energy to me, maybe as the front man, to the band, when they have their moments. But it's an exchange. So I could feel when I was listening to the live album we recorded in studio, I could feel that I was feeling a little restricted. We had microphone stands in front of us. Me and Tato Fields, amongst the people I know, was in a separate room with Bleed and SQ, and then trumpet, new band was in a separate room so that doesn't feed into the drums and vice versa, all that stuff. And it was just like, oh, okay, can I dance? I can't dance. I can't do anything in this particular setting. It sounded incredible though. Don't get me wrong. I mean, we put it on a vinyl. Like, this was too good. But what I wanted from recording the live show, this is where we go back to it being catalytic, right? I wanted to be able to showcase our live show, how we master how we master of the crowd, mic control, how we engage an audience, a live audience, right, as performers. Because I'm sure a promoter would want to see like the showmanship, would want to see like the energy and the cohesiveness and the coordination of the bands and the charisma on stage, because we're going to be rocking their audience, right? So that was what I was trying to achieve by having I Care a Lot recorded. Financially, we went over budget by around 30K, I think, if I'm not mistaken. I might be exaggerating. I mentioned it on another platform, so I'll have to rewatch. But we went over budget. But what needed to make it worth it was what we did with I Care a Lot. Hosted our own show, produced our own show, and then we recorded it. Right? We recorded it, we filmed it, 3 camera angles, and we recorded it multi-track. That way we're able to engineer, edit, produce something that would, in the past have been produced onto a DVD, which would have been really exciting. But yeah, I'm going to share in the new year, there's going to be these videos that I'm describing. It could possibly be one long I Care a Lot performance, like I've seen with festivals. You'll find, T-Pain at Rolling Loud. It's the whole performance, whole 45 minutes. I could possibly do that, which would showcase our whole show, which is cool, which some promoters are looking for. When you look at some of these festivals, international festivals, and what they're looking for. Or we could drop it episodically. So like, Stay Naked. Balance performs Stay Naked, I Care a Lot. Balance performs Whiteboards. Balance performs Office Days, So, yeah. That'll be, rolling out in the new year. I think I'll probably put this out today because I did mention that this is the last day of 2025. But yeah, amongst the many things that happened this year, I Care a Lot's recording was something I was really excited about. I had a very tough year. 30 really showed up, my capacity, I feel like had I had a year like this a couple years earlier, I think I would have been down and out if I'm to be honest. So yeah, here's to 30, here's to 31 next year. And here's to doing more, here's to rolling out I Care a Lot, potentially putting it on a vinyl as well. To new music, to a beautiful year, to your weekly touch-up happening for the last 229 weeks. Live music every Wednesday. I love South African alternative music, especially on a Wednesday. And what else? To love, to God. Thank you for the capacity. To everyone who's showed us love and who allowed us to show them love. I've got so many things I want to pray for. Like, I need a lot more forgiveness in my heart, guys. This sensitive heart of mine. But we're working on it. It's going to be a good year. 2026, we're talking financial freedom. We're talking more patience. We're talking more capacity. We're talking more audacity. You know what I'm saying? So I'm really excited about that. I hope you guys, had a great one as well. And we see each other in the new year.